going to head over. I'm going to ask Kevin Smith about a phenomenon that I'm always very curious about in Hollywood. In Hollywood, about 90%, maybe more than that, of everyone you ask what their occupation is, they're either an actor, a model, or a director. Now, that's kind of an impossibility. There's just not that many roles. I'm curious to hear what his take is on. By the way, sorry, I'm recording. A little minnow.
Okay.
I think there's a phenomenon I always experience in Hollywood where it doesn't matter who I meet, they are a director, an actor, a model, excuse you.
Good morning.
That smelled terrible.
I know, I just... And it was vegan. I didn't get to eat food. I had like a yogurt tube, so it's more gaseous mixture with a strawberry hint to it.
Oh, I tasted that strawberry.
It's just a hint of it in the air. But thank God I didn't go for the normal breakfast burrito.
A little bit of, maybe was that Starbucks in there too?
No, I'm not a coffee guy, but you might have captured a hint of Count Chocula from the previous night.
Sometimes always misconstrued.
Totally.
At Starbucks. I know there's not that many director, actor, model roles in Hollywood, yet almost everyone I meet is one. So my first part of the question is, what to you defines what a director is?
Wow, it's changed over the years, man. I mean, first I was an indie director, then I was a cult director, and now I'm just a director. And the way I see it is that somebody, studio or somebody who's giving you the money, is essentially hiring you to take a script, whether it's yours or somebody else's, and basically translate it. They're like, we want to see how you would make this, and that's what the job entails. It took me 15 years to figure that out. I used to think like, oh my God, you have to do everything, but really, your only job is to like, okay, I take the script and you just want to see what I would do with it? Beautiful. And you know, they give you all that money and base those decisions on what you've done previously. So they look at your body work and go like, okay, well clearly he knows what to do. He's not that good with a camera, but he knows how to make people laugh. Oh, that donkey show is weird. So then they go, okay, based on that, we feel we're confident enough to give you this many thousands, millions, dollars, whatever, go off and make our movie for us, whether it be based on your script or somebody else's, which I've now done both sides of the coin. And I feel like that's kind of it. That's the nearest thing. I mean, your job on set is just to create this environment where everybody can make pretend for a living and make it safe and make it fun. Don't let people run away with the egos and become divas and shit. No piece is more important than the next. We're all cogs in the same machine, and that machine makes the flick. Not all flicks, but the flick that you're working on. So based on that, you feel like, okay, everybody should kind of, you know, treat their job seriously and come prepared, loaded for bear. But you don't cure cancer. You're not fucking the biggest dick in the world. You can't, look, you're very good at making pretend, and that's it. Let's everyone keep our jobs in perspective, and never forget we're making entertainment that in fucking 20 years, somebody's gonna be strolling by on TV and click past it for something more new and current. It's disposable. Some people in the business tend to feel like this moment lasts forever. And God, if this business proves nothing else, it's that it's a moment and it goes like this. And people who are here are fucking there tomorrow and vice versa. So treat it as such, I always felt. It's a very long answer to a very simple question.
Right, no, but I appreciate that answer. That's very thoughtful, and you're absolutely right, I think, about the time factor coming into play. But what I'm curious about, though, also is what point then do you call yourself a director? Is it any hipster with his daddy's credit card who's out here not doing a effing thing?
Absolutely. My sister gave me this piece of advice, and it was real like, well, I guess people now would say Tony Robbins, but it was very Werner Erhard-esque, circa 70s. And I was talking to her about wanting to be a filmmaker. I said, I want to be a filmmaker. You know, I'd just seen Richard Linklater's flick Slacker, and I'd watched a bunch of Hal Hartley stuff, and I was suddenly kind of into the notion of making flicks, and I'd never expressed that before. I've always been a movie watcher at that point. So I say that to my sister, and my sister hits me with this new agey piece of wisdom, this little bon mot, if you will. It was actually quite effective. She goes, well, just be a filmmaker. And I was like, yeah, that's the idea. I want to be a filmmaker. And she's like, no, be a filmmaker. She's like, why aren't you a filmmaker now? She's like, just in your head, you're a filmmaker. When you think of yourself, don't think I'm Kevin Smith and I want to be a filmmaker. Just think I'm Kevin Smith. I'm a filmmaker. That's what you do. That's who you are inside. And you just got to let the rest of the world catch up. And I was just like, that sounds so retarded. It was absolutely effective. I remember from that moment forward, I was like, all right, I'm just going to play it like I am a filmmaker. I'm not saying you go into places and like, I'm a filmmaker, but it's internal. In your head, if you think, I'm not saying like anything you believe you can be, that's horseshit too. And like, you know, you can't fucking go to the top of a building and like, I can fly, you will fall. But the
unless you're in Man on Wire.
Yes, and unless you're wired up one up. But the director thing seemed kind of, the filmmaker thing seemed kind of like, it seemed harmless. You know what I'm saying? It didn't seem like that kind of new agey psychobabble where I'm like, this sounds ridiculous. And she was my sister, so I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. But it seemed so harmless. I was just like, yeah, why not? All right, from now on, I'm not going to be like in my head, I want to be a filmmaker. I'm not driving toward it. I'm there. Now I just have to find money or something like that. Like, in your head, you're this. And it worked for me. It was cool. It doesn't work on any other thing. I've tried it on many other different ways with chicks where I'm like, you want to give me anal. Like, the Jedi mind trick only works on yourself, you know, in terms of, like, reaching your goals. It doesn't work on others where you're like, I am this. And they're like, oh, please. Yes, you are. Most people aren't that gullible. But I was very gullible at that point.
What about,
I deceived myself.
What about for some of the other cogs in the industry, though, like an actor or a model?
Yeah.
At what point is it just the mindset that, okay, you're an actor, I guess? Is there at some point you have to say, you know what, where's your reel?
Well, I don't know. I mean, for me, unfortunately, I'm the worst guy to talk to because I'm a hyphenate. I don't like to do just one thing. I like to spin a lot of plates in case they catch up on the one thing. Like, I've been doing the directing thing 15 years, but I keep waiting for any minute somebody to go like, come on, dude, you're not good at this. And then be like, oh, shit, okay, I'm going to go now. So I try to spin a lot of plates, so if one falls, I can go to another. So when I hear somebody go like, you know, what point, you know, do you accept you're an actor, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, don't accept that you're just that. Like, spin a bunch of fucking plates. Why not? You know what I'm saying? I mean, for me, it got easier.
Maybe pro hockey player, that could be the plan B.
That's the one thing I can't do, unfortunately. But in the field of, like, arts and making pretend for a living, there's lots of ways to go, man, and lots of, like, avenues to take now, more so than even when I got in. I mean, the problem is now there's so many fucking avenues. Everybody tries it, and it's way more, oddly, more competitive, even though the technology is caught up where you can make a flick for far less than we did and it looked way better than ours. There's just now everybody can do that, and suddenly it becomes way more competitive. People like me ruined it for everybody else because they made it seem like, look, even this retard can make a movie, and people go, if that fucking retard can do it, I could do it. And they're right to a point, they could do it, but they're not going to have the same exact results. And then people start to realize they didn't want to make a film, they just wanted your life. They just wanted the success, they wanted money, they wanted quasi-fame or credibility or something like that. Because if you just want an audience, that's easy. You can make a flick, put it up on YouTube, and you'll have an audience. It may be only fucking 400 people, but if you're truly interested in an audience, you can reach them. But that's not what most people are interested in. Most people are interested in the fucking brass ring. They want it all and shit. And I don't know what to say to those people. I never wanted it all. It came, and I was happy to fucking embrace it, but I didn't go after that. I just wanted an audience. And then I found it. It kept growing exponentially.